I am Lauren Holmes. I am a Housing Finance Deputy Administrator for the Louisiana Housing Corporation, and we are the state administrator for the Liheap grant, the Liheap grant, and the Weatherization Assistance Program. Liheap has always played a vital role in Louisiana citizens' lives. We are right now servicing somewhere about 60,000 unduplicated households a year, and the population of Louisiana is significantly below the federal poverty line. That's just historically the population area down here. And as temperatures have continued to rise outside of COVID, this is primarily a cooling state. So we have had the electric bills that keep the homes cool have been rising over the last several years. And then COVID just impacted that even more because we had loss of incomes and things like that. And so, it has been critical to keeping people from overheating and from increasing our hospital rates, things like that, from the temperature down here. I mean, I think I was talking to somebody yesterday and they said, oh, it's only going to be 93 degrees this weekend. But I will tell you that, yes, COVID had an impact, but overall in this state, Liheap is a life necessity. And if it was not here, we would have all kinds of electricity bills. Gas is just not, it's used primarily for cooking more than it is heating down here. And, so the electricity has really been the impact for us. And we fortunately have been in the middle of COVID. We had a lot of utility vendors that went in, did their own moratoriums. And so even though, and some of that, let's be honest, was it's a political. Down here we have New Orleans, and New Orleans is basically, when it comes to how New Orleans operates, it's basically an island within Louisiana. So the city council, it has one utility vendor. The city council controls, whether or not they're allowed to, have moratoriums or not. And so some of those things kind of saved us big time during COVID and allowed us to get the benefits out in a manner that was consistent with our community action agencies having people out or adapting to moving from seeing people face to face to taking phone calls and things like that. So, it's definitely been helpful. I have serious concerns about what's going to happen when we lose all this additional funding that we've been getting for the last couple of years. So, yeah, in Louisiana, this year alone, we've had 85 million. And so when we go down to our regular amounts of, which is about 55 million for us on an annual basis, that's going to have a significant impact on how we're able to help people. And it may not be that we can prevent all the disconnects that we've been able to prevent over the last couple of years because of the funding. Number of individuals served is kind of remaining consistent, but what has happened is we've increased benefits. So we're having even though we're seeing the same number of people, we're having a larger impact, which can potentially keep them out of a crisis situation longer. And then so what's happening is those 60,000 people that we're seeing aren't necessarily the same people over and over again like it was in the past, because we're able to, that one person, when they come in, they're getting a larger benefit. They're getting supplemental benefits, and we've also increased our crisis benefits in the last 2 years. they're getting a larger impact. So it's keeping them out of crisis longer. And then that is allowing us to help new clients. So people we've never seen before. So you're not really seeing the difference in the numbers, but it's the impact and what that number is made up of. So, our new clients is up, and the people that we're helping, they're getting additional benefits. So, prior to COVID, and we were making some state programmatic changes. They started beginning around, I came in 2017. So it must have been about 2019 is when the public started seeing the difference in the benefits. But our benefit matrix had stayed consistent for years, and it was never adapted or modified or changed or anything of that nature. And so, through about 2019, through COVID, we've been increasing benefits. And so then when you do those supplemental funds that have been coming in, we start layering on top of that. So it's not just the regular benefit that individuals are getting, then it's a $200 supplement here, and it's a $200 supplement there. And then it's, our crisis benefit used to be a max of, I think it was $400 or $450, which isn't going to resolve anything. I mean, it's going to resolve you for a minute. And so since we've had all these additional funds and we've been able to analyze data better, what's happening is we increased during COVID the crisis benefit to, I think it was 600. And we just recently, the past year, we went up to $1,000. And so that has really, even though we still don't do past due amounts, it's able to resolve some of those issues where out of COVID, a lot of customers went into payment plans. And so what is happening now is that, we're not really considered in a COVID crisis anymore. And so those vendors are calling some of that stuff due in the event that a payment is missed or something of that nature. And so it's larger amounts that have to be paid off in order to prevent the disconnect, even though it's not a past due, it becomes a due now. 39 community action agencies across Louisiana. So they're really the boots on the ground. And every once in a blue moon, I get the thank you for what we did. But it's really, I give credit to those community action agencies, because I can sit here all day long and I can make decisions about what those benefits are going to be and how we're going to deliver them. But if I didn't have the network of the group and the partners out there in the field that handhold and, walk people through application processes and things like that, they're critical. And you made the comment about individuals being prideful. Those are the calls I normally get. Those calls are, I've never had to ask for assistance before. What do I do? And so, we direct them to our partners. We are continuing to look for ways to make funding more accessible to the public. So we're looking more at online application options, but there's always going to be those individuals that need a hand. And you're talking about our elderly, our disabled, our homebound. I was at one of the community action agencies just 2 days ago, and, they were discussing, they go out and they do home visits, and they're required to, but they go out there and they will go to your home and they will get you qualified if you don't have anybody else that can help you. And if we didn't have that network, it would be impossible to be able to assist everyone that is in need right now. And yes, I think our biggest struggle right now is trying to find ways of reaching the population that is basically the working class, where the income is just not meeting the income limit thresholds. And would we love to see the income thresholds increased? Yes. because I think we're really, you know, that's been a discussion we've had within the state, is that there's a gap, and it's about that 60% of the state median income to 80% of the state median income, where we're just not meeting the mark, and there's no funding there to help. And so that's the working class that we're trying to, you know, how can we find other funding sources that are outside of Liheap, or do we advocate and we, you know, because that's a statutory thing. Where we're coming at and how we're trying to battle it right now is, we're marketing big time weatherization, because we use, well, this year it's 12%. It has, in the past it's been 15%, but we're using 12% of that Liheap grant right now to go in and weatherize homes. And we follow our DOE requirements. So we have a little bit higher income guidelines when it comes to weatherization. And so what we're doing is, if we can go in and we can weatherize the home, then we can lower the utility cost that way, even though I can't do the bill payment assistance for that income bracket type deal. So, you know, that is a big promotion that we're kind of doing right now, is just trying to educate the public about, you know, when we run out of Liheap dollars, because we're almost there, and we're not getting our Liheap dollars again until probably November 1st or so is when those funds will come back through. So the struggle that we're having right now, and I have people contacting me left and right, is, are we getting more funds? No, but if we could weatherize your home, we could make it more energy efficient. And if you're cutting your lights off and you're unplugging all of those appliances and things like that, we can save power at least that way, and maybe lower the bills a little bit. But we are kind of hitting our point in the year where it's about to get ugly. And because of the heat that has been occurring down here, there are some moratoriums in place. They're not at a state level. They're vendor like impact, they're vendor defined, basically. So if the vendor says, okay, we're going to have a moratorium until September 9th, but they don't want to extend it anymore, it's going to be gone. Some of that is state defined, but I think also, you know, from a more funding isn't necessarily the answer or the only answer. I think there's got to be, and I feel like I've seen that with the infrastructure funding that's come through, is that we're pushing for more energy efficiency. And if we start pushing for more energy efficiency, or, you know, and energy efficiency is also, when it comes to low income households, it's also dependent upon the condition of that home. You can't go in and weatherize a home that's falling apart. So if, I don't think it's just a bill payment assistance problem. I feel like it's an overall, how do we help our low income to in their housing situations, right? There needs to be more funding for rehab programs. And then that rehab program can lead to allowing us to weatherize the home and make it more energy efficient. And then when you put the bill payment on top of that, then your overall, I mean, it's a holistic approach. And so I think it's that we don't just take a look at one area, but I think it's how we address individuals living in poverty as a whole, and how we can help to make that living situation better.